All right, all right. Hello, everybody. Oh my gosh, I started choking on my saliva. Okay, either way, so just so you know, a couple things that I wanted to go over was kind of part 2 on learning while you're living. And one of the biggest things that I want to mention is how audiobooks and podcasts really play a strong role kind of in my life. And I feel like, one, you got a podcast for everything. There's so much legitimate content, information that is relative to the now on anything you can think of: relationships, friendships, building a business, being the best you can be, leadership, finances, how to have a great day, even like fictional and nonfiction podcasts. So there, even if it's just something to free up time rather than listen to the radio, there's a podcast for everything. So I love using podcasts. I kind of plan, I have a couple that I subscribe to that are really more for leadership development. I love Andy Stanley's leadership podcast, Craig Rochelle's leadership podcast. The No Neutral Moments podcast from Patrick Payton is a great one. It's a brand new one that just came out. It's still in beta mode. So there's all sorts of stuff. I mean, John Maxwell has a great leadership podcast, but it's really, that one's has more content more than anything. But some are real fun to listen to. So you got to kind of figure out what makes the most sense in your life and what is attractive to your ear. I kind of try to listen rather than listen to the radio. I really don't listen to music, only when I'm on the treadmill or running. But when I'm in my car to work, from work, on lunch break, I really listen to a podcast. Now, exception for a couple of days. So typically Tuesdays and Thursdays, I listen to an audiobook. I try to balance those out. I love Audible. So here's a couple things with audiobooks that I like to do. I actually really enjoy listening to audiobooks. Audiobooks have just as much content as it would if you were to read a book. Don't feel bad about listening to an audiobook instead of reading a book. It's a great way to see if you really enjoy the content and that author. And then if I really enjoy it, then I go out and buy the book in the hard copy. Now, the thing that I like to do with Audible, though, is I like to listen to hear who is actually reading that book. And so, like, typically when the author does it, I feel like it's so much better because the author takes the information off the page and makes it real life and really loves to explain their passion behind it. You can hear the voice in it. Some books are read from another person for the author, and they're okay if you really enjoy that author or like their content, but again, they're just okay. So it's kind of whatever you enjoy. So I do love the cool thing about Audible is that, like, I just kind of create like this cloud. Oh man, that sun's like right in my face. So just kind of create this in the cloud. There's a cloud and there's things that you could actually have on your device. But I love the cloud. It allows me to buy content all the time, and so I always have something in my queue or in my deck for when I finish a book, I go on to the next one. And so I love Audible. I'm a big fan, but there's so many other sources that you could actually use. And so Monday through Friday, I find myself kind of working through a podcast or an audiobook. On the weekends, I really find myself reading a physical hard copy of a book, but we could talk about that later. So either way, part 2, this is all about like audiobook. I love Zig Ziglar's theory on an automobile degree. Anytime you're in your car, you should be learning information. We all have the same 24 hours in a day time frame. So what you do with those 24 hours is the most important. And those are the 2 best ways to get a lot of content, to stay relative, to always be growing, to challenge your thinking, and to make a difference in your day. Man, guys, have a great day. I hope this content helps you out. Be awesome.